Hey guys, it's Dee. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about what contributes to weight loss issues when you have chronic pain issues like rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia, as well as the first step to being able to lose that weight and actually keep it off instead of it like bouncing back, because your girl's been there. So with weight loss, with RA and fibromyalgia and like other chronic conditions, I'm sure you're pretty familiar with what a lot of people say to help with that. Well, exercise, eat right. It's that simple, right? No, it's not that simple. If it was, then overweightness would not be a problem. I'm fairly certain, okay? Um, so I wanted to go over a few different things that commonly contribute to issues with being able to lose weight as well as like gaining weight. So the first thing is obviously most of us with rheumatoid arthritis and most of us with fibromyalgia are female. Hormones. That's kind of a problem. And even if you weren't female, hormones can still be kind of a problem because we all have what's called the stress hormone, cortisol. I'm sure we've all felt that, and when you are in that like fight or flight response because of those stress hormones, your body's trying to hold on to every single little nutrient it gets, because while we're in this more civilized world compared to like caveman days, our bodies are still acting like we're still in the caveman days. So they're just like, ooh, okay, yeah, let's hold on to everything here because we don't know what's going to happen. Bad compound interest is what I like to call it. So that's one of them. Then the other issue is, there's the physical body itself on top of things like stress hormones, on top of, just organ dysfunction to begin with, which drains the little bit of energy you do have because your body's fighting your own immune system right now. Like, we need to calm down. Or it's just overly sensitive up in the automatic part of your brain, especially like with things like fibromyalgia, and they're just like, okay, we need you to like calm down. Okay, like if I could give me some good sleep today, that would be great. Like, how much energy it takes just to fight that, But anyway, so then on the physical side, okay, if you're tired or you're in pain or you're in a period of your life where you're constantly busy, so you struggle to give yourself that space to recover. Well, that's not helping as far as weight loss either, because, it's hard to go and just get up and exercise if you're in the middle of a flare. It's hard to just get up and go and do XYZ, or, if you have all these medical bills that you're currently paying, you can't, sometimes you have to tweak the type of food that you get. There's so many different things that mix into it. It's not that simple. So then there's that. Then there's just the mental and emotional aspects of it all. So, I mean, I don't know anybody who has chronic pain or chronic fatigue and it's just like all the time. Like, no, that shit's gonna get to you after a while. That doesn't help with weight loss either, because again, like those anxious feelings, the depression, like all of those other negative emotions slows down your metabolism on top of increasing that wonderful stress hormone that we really don't need any more of. And you see how that like all just creates a vicious cycle. So then you start feeling even more pain because you're more sensitive to it, because you're already in a not so great headspace. And then you start to feel even more like shit. So that puts you in a worse headspace. And it's just like, yeah, try losing weight with that, And then there's also on an energy, like spiritual level, if you are not in a good place mentally, emotionally, physically, that's going to take a toll on the spiritual aspect of you, whatever that means to you. You know what I'm saying? So when you are not in a place where you are feeling fulfilled. You feel like, yes, I am living my best life. Like I am feeling like my authentic self. How many people feel like that at all times with chronic pain? You know, I'm just saying that doesn't help as far as like the spiritual energy around you. So then that starts to get all out of balance. And all three of these different, I'll call them bodies, you know, they all mix with each other. And so then it just gets into this vicious cycle where your body's just like, okay, we're in this fight or flight response, even though you don't always feel it because you're used to it for so long. You know, it's just like, okay, we're going to, any little thing, any little scriptlet that this person eats, we are going to hold on to that stuff because we don't know what's going to happen next, but we're feeling like whatever it is, it's probably not going to be positive. Vicious cycle, you know, and then you start to notice more pains, new pains. You start to be in flares longer. You start to feel it more intensely because your entire body, brain is all on this like super hypersensitive mode here. Like it's acting like it's in the Vietnam War, and you're sitting here in your house. You know, try losing weight with all that. Like imagine what that's doing to your metabolism. You know, imagine what that's doing as far as your hormone levels, what it's doing to your health. Like it is just a really nasty cycle. So with all of that said, the first step to being able to lose weight with these issues and it stay off is to figure out what all different types of weight are you carrying. And what I mean by that is, you know, everyone's different. Some people, the most amount of their extra weight is stress weight, like just from being stressed out, from having an overactive autonomic system, which is like the automatic part of your brain that controls all the stuff we can't control, like, you know, heart rate and blood pressure, you know, breathing when you're not paying attention. So there's that. For some people, there's the physical, actual extra weight of it all, which is more like if you have a breathing issue, for example, you know, if you have certain issues with breathing or you're not using proper breathing mechanics, okay, well, you're carrying a lot of extra carbon dioxide type weight. Because think about it, when you exercise or when people exercise, you know, they're doing all these different movements, which, yeah, that helps boost their metabolism. But one thing that happens no matter what, whether you are doing something slower, like lifting weights, which is anaerobic, or you're running on the treadmill or something, you're breathing out excess carbon dioxide. Highly recommend this book called Breathe by James Nestor. Very, very interesting as far as how just breathing mechanics make a huge difference in your health in general, but there are some sections that go into weight as well. So there's that as that type of weight. Then there's a bunch of spiritual weight. If you are in a place like I was for a long time where I felt conflicted between different things because of like, you know, what I was raised to believe and what I was leaning towards didn't always match up, you know, so you feel kind of conflicted and you feel like a fraud because you're just like, okay, one of these, I'm like, I'm not vibing as well with this, or I prefer this modality of healing, which kind of contradicts some of the things in other areas. So you see how much weight you can hold just with that, and you don't even have to have rheumatoid arthritis or fibromyalgia for that. Then, you know, from the mental, you know, a lot of people carry a lot of trauma, whether it's physical trauma, like a really severe injury that you had years ago, because your body's still holding on to that. It didn't forget that. But even, you know, the mental, like, you know, if you saw domestic violence growing up, if you experienced that, you know, you might move on like with your life, but your body is still holding on to all that until you release it. And then after a while, all that negative energies and memories and things, that stuff gets trapped in your body too. And then that starts to eventually cause pain. You see how this is different for like everybody? So that's why I say step one is to start to explore and be familiar with what all different types of weight are you carrying, because you're 9 times out of 10 not carrying just one. Being overweight is a symptom of a bigger issue with every single person. And that issue is different and comes in a different balance for everybody, you know? So I encourage you to explore that and let me know what your thoughts are. I'll give you an example real quick with me. You know, I was carrying a lot of stress weight from just, I kept myself stressed. I did not do things to try and minimize stress. So I was constantly like in fight or flight response. Then there was the spiritual weight, because again, I was struggling with trying to figure out what I authentically believed, you know, so that did not help. Then I was doing things for other people, which isn't bad, but I was giving so much to other people, I didn't give anything to myself. I didn't give myself the same grace I gave other people. So then I felt drained physically, mentally, emotionally. And on top of that, you know, I didn't feel like I was being my full authentic self. That doesn't help the spiritual or the mental or the emotional. Then I've been a survivor of trauma. So all that stuff got stored over time in my body too, which started causing pain. And you know, there's dealing with that. Then there's just the actual, you know, like physical aspect of stuff where my autonomic nervous system, which is the, like I said, the automatic part of my brain, not psychiatric. I mean, like your actual organ, the brain, it wasn't balanced. It's not balanced in a lot of people. And my adrenals were absolutely drained, which is the organ that creates cortisol, which is the stress hormone that we're well familiar with how that feels. You know, like you see how like there's so many different causes. So that's why if you see someone that they go and tackle one thing and it doesn't really work as well, or it works a little bit but not long term, it's because that's just like one side of the diamond. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many different other areas. So I love to know your thoughts on this video. Definitely, if you're comfortable sharing what some of the extra weight you're carrying is, like how I just explained it, I encourage you to share it in the comments, because I'm telling you, you are not alone. And you know what? It's something that I don't see talked about enough. And I think we need to have that conversation more. Okay. So with that said, I hope this video was helpful. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.